The ancient seal of Terra Bruma has shattered, unleashing the forces of chaos once more. In this Doom / Duke Nukem / Noah's Ark style first-person shooter, you play a nameless mage who, after the failure of his peers to return from their expedition, is sent to the town of Grimbrook. In the town of Grimbrook, you fight through 7 locations against the corruption that is taking over the land. There's no in-game tutorial, but you can find the controls in the settings under key bindings. You interact with E, switch weapons with the number keys or the scroll wheel, switch special items with R and T, and use those special items with F. Later on in the game, you will unlock Divine Touch, which is bound to the middle mouse button. The enemies in the game are fun, and you discover more as you progress throughout the levels. On the floor level of the castle, you will find a small variety of goblin characters. Below the castle, you can find sewer tentacles that lob globs of goo at you, and even literal sentient TNT kegs that release a bunch of the same goo in various directions when you defeat them. The sprites for these enemies are honestly very beautiful. The entire game is beautiful. It hardly feels like I'm playing a 16-bit inspired game. I honestly did get lost in the beginning of my initial run, but that was before I realized that the map you have actually shows you where you should go next, as indicated by the pulsing blue ring. Some of the puzzles in the game can be challenging. I had to look this one up on YouTube to figure out which skulls I had to pull. Others, though, are fairly simple and actually kind of rewarding when you figure them out. My favorite puzzle was the Endless Room puzzle, where in order to escape, you had to use a different exit whenever the room changes. On my initial run, I found that I didn't use my special items all that often, and I often felt like I was playing a puzzle-solving walking simulator due to the shockingly low amount of enemies in each level. I felt like I was left walking throughout the level trying to figure out puzzles for a lot of the time I was playing. I typically defaulted to using only my fire rings or the orb musket pistol, as they were the most fun in my opinion. On my second run, however, after I upped the difficulty, I found myself having a lot more fun. Enemies took more hits to kill, resulting in me using more ammo, resulting in me running out of ammo and actually being forced to use my other weapons. There were also a lot more enemies to face, resulting in me actually having to use my health flasks and even scrolls of hellfire to help weaken the goblin forces. I realized I was having a lot more fun on the higher difficulty because I was actually getting to engage with the game more. Yes, there is puzzle solving and secret hunting in the game, but at the core of it, and I think at the core of every Doom-like game, is the satisfaction gained from running around and gunning down enemies. Weapons and special items. There are technically 5 weapons in the game, but we're going to lump Divine Touch into the weapons category because it is used to kill enemies, even though it's technically an ability. We'll go over each weapon. The Magic Mace. The Magic Mace is a simple mace that the player starts with that does simple damage until it's charged with what I call mace shards. Mace shards can be picked up within the world, and once you picked up at least 5, your Magic Mace will do more damage. Damaging enemies with the Magic Mace will consume mace shards, resulting in you having to pick more up. An uncharged mace takes 2 swings to destroy barrels, while a charged mace takes 1. You can also melee with the mace while equipped with another weapon by pressing Q. Flame Rings. The Flame Rings are the first weapon that you pick up off the ground. For every weapon that you can pick up off the ground, there are duplicates floating throughout the levels that upgrade the weapon and I believe give you more ammo. There's not much to say about the Flame Rings. They're a powerful weapon that enables the player to shoot fireballs from their hands. Fire orbs can be found throughout the levels that replenish the Fire Rings ammo. As of time of recording, there are no alternate fire options for any of the weapons except the Ice Wand. And the Flame Rings take typically 3 or more shots to kill. The Ice Wand. The Ice Wand is a fairly straightforward weapon. It has a higher fire rate than the Flame Rings, and after an enemy has been hit with a certain amount of ice shards, they will freeze. You can remotely break these frozen enemies by right-clicking with the ice wand equipped. I would say the ice wand is most effective when in a small room with lots of enemies, mostly because you can freeze multiple enemies in a short amount of time thanks to the wand's fire rate, and you can slow down the enemy forces. Orb bombs. You know those orbs that wizards look into to ponder? Well, the orbs in this game are supercharged with magic and essentially become a magical grenade. The orb bomb doesn't throw very far, but it does have this interesting mechanic where if you throw it on the ground, the orb bounces a few times, then stops. But if you throw the orb directly at an enemy, it will actually explode on impact. Be careful with these though, because they can actually damage you, and they do a lot of damage. The orb bomb is best used against bunched up groups of enemies and large enemies with large health pools. Next up, we have what I call the Orb Musket Pistol Shotgun, or we'll call it the Orb Pistol for short. This is a shotgun that looks like a musket pistol and fires 3 red orbs in a horizontal spread. The range is actually decent, but of course the closer you are, the more damage you do because the enemy is hit with more orbs. I'm getting tired of saying orbs so much, can you tell? I'm going to say ammo from now on. The orb pistol is simple yet effective. At close ranges, it can take only 1 shot to kill an enemy, while it will take more at a further distance. This is by far my favorite weapon in the game, and I use it whenever I have the ammo for it. Divine Touch. While technically an ability, Divine Touch is charged up by picking up yellow shards from fallen enemies. Once the Divine Touch bar is full, you can use the middle mouse button to Thanos snap enemies in front of you from existence. Definitely best used in crowded rooms or on large groups of enemies. Now we'll quickly go over the special items you can pick up. There's the Health Elixir. The Health Elixir is simple and it restores 20 health when used. Scroll of Hellfire. The Scroll of Hellfire shoots fireballs in a circle around you and does damage to any enemy it hits. The Torch. As you would think, the torch when used illuminates every room you're in, including the outside. Scroll of Repulsion. The Scroll of Repulsion simply pushes enemies away from you. Invisibility Cloak. Fairly self-explanatory, but it does make you invisible for a certain amount of time. Wizard's Wrath. The Wizard's Wrath item increases the damage done to all enemies with each of your weapons. Fire Shield. The Fire Shield blocks projectiles, and I believe it also reduces melee damage. Overall, Wizordum was a really fun experience, and only took maybe 3 to 4 hours total for me to complete it. As of time of recording, episode 2 of Wizordum has been released, and I may make a review on that. Thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye bye.